Vasseur probably thought he was doing the right thing. After all, he's the team boss at Ferrari, and his job is to manage pressure, calm nerves, and guide the team forward. But when he spoke to the media after the Spanish Grand Prix, trying to cool things down after Lewis Hamilton's emotional radio messages during the race, it felt more like he added fuel to a fire that's been building for weeks. What was meant to be a moment of reassurance from Vasseur actually revealed something much more serious, a deeper problem between Hamilton and Ferrari that is becoming harder to ignore. This is not just about speed or results, it's about trust, feeling, and connection. And right now, those things are missing. During the Spanish Grand Prix in 2025, Lewis Hamilton's messages over the team radio weren't filled with shouting or anger. Instead, they were calm but heavy. They carried frustration, disappointment, and a quiet sense of defeat. It wasn't just another bad race for Hamilton. It was a moment that showed how far apart he feels from the team that promised him so much when he signed with Ferrari. Hamilton didn't hold back after the race. He said the car had the worst balance he had ever driven, and when asked to give something positive about the weekend, he answered with just one word: 0. For a 7-time world champion to say that, and to say it without any fire or frustration in his voice, means there's something seriously wrong inside Ferrari right now. Vasseur, when speaking after the race, tried to make things look better. He pointed out that the lap times in the final stint on soft tires were actually decent. He said the data didn't show anything too dramatic. According to him, the car had pace, and maybe Hamilton was just reacting emotionally to a tough race. But that's exactly the problem. Hamilton wasn't talking about numbers. He was talking about feel, about trust, about a lack of connection with the car and the team. The moment Ferrari chose to explain away his feelings with data, they showed just how disconnected they are from their star driver. Formula One is a sport built on numbers, yes, but it's also built on instincts and emotions. The best drivers, in history, Hamilton included, don't just rely on data to judge a car. They feel it, they live it. When something doesn't feel right, it affects everything: confidence, focus, performance. Hamilton's radio message during the race wasn't dramatic. It was distant. It felt like someone slowly giving up, not because they've stopped caring, but because they've stopped believing that anyone is listening. That's what makes this situation so dangerous for Ferrari, not just because Hamilton is unhappy, but because his silence speaks louder than anything else. This breakdown didn't happen in one weekend. The signs have been there for a while. In Miami, Hamilton sounded sarcastic on the radio. In Monaco, he seemed distant. In both races, his body language told a clear story. He was less engaged in the garage, spending less time talking to his engineers and looking less confident overall. It's the kind of slow fade that doesn't always show up in lap times, but anyone watching closely can feel it. And then came Barcelona, a track Hamilton knows very well, a place where car balance and setup are key. From the start, Hamilton struggled. He didn't fight when the team asked him to let Leclerc pass. He just moved aside. That wasn't teamwork. That was resignation, a quiet surrender. And after the race, when he said 0 in response to what went well, that wasn't anger. It was detachment. Vasseur's calm response to all of this, where he suggested Hamilton's comments were exaggerated, didn't help. In fact, it made things worse. It showed that Ferrari is still treating Hamilton's feedback like a technical problem instead of an emotional one. But Hamilton is not just another driver reading out numbers. He's a leader, a champion, someone who brings more than just skill to the team. And he's asking for more than just tire choices and strategy tweaks. He's asking for belief, for understanding, for respect. When he says the car is undrivable, he's not guessing. He's not trying to stir things up. He's trying to tell the team something important, something they need to hear. But if they keep ignoring those signals, this partnership will fall apart, no matter how good the car might become. The cracks between Hamilton and Ferrari didn't start in Spain, but they became impossible to hide there. From the outside, it may seem like just another tough race, but for Hamilton it felt like something much more personal. He didn't just feel slow, he felt alone, betrayed even. He's been trying to give feedback, to help the team move forward, but when the answers he gets are spreadsheets and statistics, it sends a clear message. We don't believe what you're saying unless the data backs it up. And that's the most dangerous mindset a Formula One team can have, because no data can replace the experience of a champion like Hamilton. If he says something is wrong, it's because something is wrong, even if the graphs say otherwise. This emotional disconnect is not just a small issue. It's the kind of thing that can end careers and destroy championship hopes. A driver needs to feel connected to the car and to the team. If that bond is broken, the results fall apart. But more importantly, the motivation fades, and we're already seeing signs of that with Hamilton. His energy is different now. He speaks less during races. He seems less motivated in interviews. The fire that brought him to Ferrari, the dream of rewriting history in red, is being slowly put out, not by results alone, but by the way the team is reacting to his struggles. Ferrari thought they were getting a fired-up Hamilton ready to win again. But they're not fueling that fire. They're smothering it with cold logic and missed opportunities to connect. Ferrari is a team known for passion and history. But lately, they've become more robotic, more focused on data than on drivers. And that's a huge problem. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to be treated like a number in a report. He came to lead, to inspire, to bring Ferrari back to the top. He knew it wouldn't be easy. He expected challenges. But what he didn't expect was to feel ignored. And that's exactly what's happening. Every time he tries to explain what's wrong, the response is the same. The data looks fine. But Formula One isn't won by data alone. It's won by trust, teamwork, and belief. And right now, those things are missing. The silence from Hamilton is the loudest message of all. It shows that he's losing faith in this project. Slowly, quietly, but clearly. And unless Ferrari wakes up and changes how they treat him, that silence will only grow. It won't be long before Hamilton stops trying altogether, not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't see the point. That's what makes this moment so important. Ferrari still has time to fix things, but they need to act now. They need to start listening, truly listening, not just to the data, but to the driver who has more experience than anyone else on the grid. Montreal is coming up, and Ferrari usually does well there. But this time the challenge isn't just technical, it's emotional. Hamilton needs to feel like he's being heard. He needs to know that his voice matters. That when he says something feels wrong, the team doesn't just look at a graph, they talk to him, understand him, work with him. Because if they keep brushing aside his instincts, this relationship won't survive. And that would be a tragedy, not just for Ferrari, but for the sport. Hamilton didn't leave Mercedes to become a passenger in his own career. He came to Ferrari to lead, to win, to write a final chapter that would be remembered forever. But if this continues, that chapter won't be about glory. It will be about loss. About a driver who gave everything but got silence in return. And the saddest part is that it didn't have to be this way. All Ferrari had to do was listen. There's still time to turn this around, but it requires more than just upgrades and setup changes. It requires a shift in culture, a shift in attitude. Ferrari must stop treating Hamilton like a problem to solve and start treating him like a partner. He's not just there to drive the car, he's there to build something bigger, but he can't do it alone. He needs support, he needs belief. And most of all, he needs to know that Ferrari is with him, not just in strategy meetings, but in spirit. This is the moment of truth for Ferrari. Not just because of what happened in Spain, but because of what it revealed. The disconnect is real. The silence is growing. And if they don't do something about it soon, they won't just lose a few races. They'll lose Hamilton. Maybe not today, maybe not even this season. But it will happen. And when it does, they'll look back and realize that the warnings were there all along. They just didn't want to hear them. Hamilton has not given up yet. But he's getting close. You can see it in his eyes, in the way he walks through the paddock, in the tone of his voice. The passion is still there, but it's fading. And only Ferrari can bring it back. Not with promises, not with press releases, but with real action, real conversations, real support. Because in the end, Formula One is not just about machines, it's about people. And people need to be heard. Ferrari has a chance to save this partnership.